We don't have a huge agenda here. We just mostly wanted to be able to hear from you all. I just wanted to say a couple things. First of all, I want to tell everybody thanks. You know, this has been such a crazy time. I think when we started this in March, we thought, oh, you know, by June we'll be over. Then June, it was like, okay, by July we'll be over. And now we're heading into the fall. And I know you're worried about school and your girls in school and how you're going to work and make sure they learn something and juggling all those kinds of things, jobs and families and everything that goes along with it. But I do want to say that this is as the best time ever for girls and Girl Scouts, and the help and the guidance that you give as parents and as leaders is the most important thing for them. It's a great way for them to still come together as sisters, even though they can't necessarily be in the same room together all the time. But it's a great way for them to still connect. It's a great enrichment program for those of you who are going to be homeschooling or know friends who are homeschooling. You know, our Girl Scout program adds a lot of enrichment to the regular school day when parents are looking something fun and or educational for kids to do, for their girls to do. I think our program is really right up there for them, for families to fill in for that gap. But I just really want to thank you for all the work you're doing. We just wanted to be able to answer questions for you tonight. And Kelly, if you'll put in the log, in the chat log, Girl Scouts USA, just like last week, came out with a matrix of how to determine, you know, we've been getting a lot of questions. Can we have meetings? Can we do day trips and those kind of things? And so they put out a good decision matrix and we Alaskanized it for our local selves here. Amanda did. And Kelly just put it in the chat box. We also have it on our website, and it's also, we sent it out in an email yesterday. But it's a good guide for you to look at where you live, figure out what's going on in your community, and then make decisions from there. Because even in our own state, some places don't have very many cases, and some places have a lot of cases. So not every town in Anchorage or in Alaska is the same. And so the guidelines take you to the state's website, and Kelly just put that link there that tells where your community is and what level they're on in the risk matrix. And so we'll keep updating that all the time. And sometimes but you also have to look at what your city is saying or what your town is saying. Sometimes a town will have even a different restriction or something that other ones don't. For example, the Anchorage hunker down that we're in right now till the end of August. So I know it's complicated, but we're definitely here to answer questions. We'll put out there a lot. Kelly will type it up here. I like how she types everything I say. The customer service email. It's the best way to catch us. It used to be that we assigned you to a specific staff person, but what we really found was it was hard if somebody was out of town or sick or whatever. You fell into a black hole. And so by sending your email to this customer care email, then we can make sure that somebody can answer your email right away. And Kelly just put the email in there, customercare@girlscoutsalaska.org. Molly mentioned the guide looks good, but we should follow local mandates as well. Yes, that's exactly right. Girl Scouts USA did the big kind of overlook. We tried to put the state look, and then every community needs to do whatever the city is saying as well. So it can get complicated, but our goal is always to keep girls safe. Number one, absolutely, is our first goal, but also to figure out how we can bring them together and help them at the same time. And so that's what we're trying to achieve here. Amanda, do you want to throw out some things about some of the program and things that we're having online this year?
Sure, yes, and I will just mention on that guide, you know, we used local, state, national, and GSUSA recommendations. GSUSA recommendations, especially for that high alert level, are usually a little more restrictive than what we're seeing in local areas. So for example, Molly, what you'll see in our guidelines is that the high level is more restrictive than what Anchorage is saying. So you can, be pretty sure that it's going to cover your local guidelines, but you should go back and check. I would also recommend checking that state map every once in a while. Those levels are going to change based on the last 14 days of cases in your area. They redo that every single day. Right now, the only high alert area is the municipality of Anchorage. Everything else is either intermediate or low. And you'll see all those details in the document. Lots of stuff is happening in terms of council program, GSUSA program and support coming out. We know a lot of troops are going to have to start their year online with virtual troop meetings. We are working on a whole bunch of resources for all of you to make that a little easier. Right now, there's some how to pick a good virtual program stuff on our website. There is, I think, a short handout of here's all the types of different virtual hosting platforms you could use to do troop meetings. So do take a look at that, but expect a whole bunch more to be coming. We're creating some trainings on how do you run a good virtual meeting? What's the structure? How long should they be? How do you do behavior management virtually? GSUSA is also working on those resources. We'll also be putting together a technical video. So if you are just like, I'm uncomfortable with technology, it's overwhelming to try to figure out not only how to have a meeting, but to host the meeting. We'll do a short video to show you, here's how you use the whiteboard and here's how you break girls up into smaller breakout rooms, and here's how we log in. And we're also going to work on doing a live program so you can come in, take over the controls, and try it all out before you do it with girls. So do watch for all of those resources in the next couple of weeks. GSUSA has also put out brand new safety guidelines on how to do a virtual meeting. If those aren't on our website, they will be in the next day or two. So do check out those safety guidelines as well.
And actually, this would be a good time to mention, Girl Scouts USA negotiated a deal with Zoom for us, for all of our council, all of our troops, excuse me, and they'll be coming out, sorry, I should have brought some water. They'll be coming out soon about how troops can get a low dollar cost Zoom. So don't run out and purchase Zoom right now if you don't have it. We will definitely get you the information on how to get something for your troops. And it'll be cheaper than if you just go to the Zoom website and try to sign up. So watch for that. Molly's asking where the virtual programs are located. Actually, Kelly put a link right above your question there. I think that's what you're asking, the virtual programs. One thing that's cool about the virtual programs, if you haven't checked them out yet, that is very cool is once a girl is a Girl Scout, she's a Girl Scout everywhere in the United States. So if she wants to look at a program in Florida or Iowa or Texas, she totally can do that. And Girl Scouts USA has a clearinghouse for us that lets you go and look at other places besides just ours. Tanya says the link isn't working. So maybe you could try that again, Kelly. Maybe it didn't copy and paste over. Pardon?
I'll work on it.
Okay, thanks. Then the other question I see from Irma, how about safety on the Zoom calls? So by setting up your own Zoom with the account that you have with Girl Scouts USA, you'll be able to, just like we did, let people in or not let people in. So you don't have this bombing of people coming in who you don't know. If you don't know their name, you can screen them before they get in there and keep them out. Or when you're the host, like if, let's say you were misbehaving, Irma, I could just mix you out and kick you out right away. So if you were a rogue agent that jumped in for some reason, you would have that ability as a host to just drop somebody right away. So they have worked on the safety since the first kind of go around when everybody was on Zoom and not knowing. I feel like we were like on a super highway driving with our eyes closed and nobody knew what the heck was happening with this Zoom thing, how to get anywhere. So they've definitely fixed some of those issues. But I do think, Oh, go ahead, Amanda.
You'll also see in the GSUSA virtual troop meeting guidelines other safety procedures, things like don't ever have girls share their email address in meetings. You as the troop leader should have that, not share that publicly just in case. Girls should change, like you can see we all have our first and last names. Girls should change that to just their first name and last initial. You shouldn't ever record those meetings. There, you'll see a whole bunch of Girl Scout specific guidelines to help you put even more safety parameters around meetings. And that does include still having 2 unrelated adults that are on the meeting with you.
There's a question in the question and answer too. I can't tell who it's from. It says, what's the difference between the medium and low risk in-person guidelines? They look the same. Amanda, do you?
A lot of it is the same. We just wanted to make sure that if people are skipping to their section, they're seeing everything. There are some differences around what can happen with food, the size or frequency of in-person gatherings. I'm just bringing it up to scroll through again really quickly. For intermediate, we say things like most meetings should occur virtually or outside. For low risk, you can certainly do in person in more areas, not just outside, but inside, although we don't recommend personal homes at this point. So there are some differences. There's a lot of similarities as there as well. And I would say if you need more details, if you look and you say, I don't understand this piece or why this seems to be the same, just email customer care and we will make sure somebody who is well versed in those reaches back out to you.
Again, I think this is Girl Scouts USA right off the bat back in March figured out that this virtual stuff was going to be around to stay. And so they have definitely put some resources behind it and helping to create some fun program. I really encourage you to look at those national programs. There's cybersecurity, auto mechanics. We have a bunch of new badges in all sorts of interesting topics. So again, if it's something that not just for fun, they're all going to be fun, but it's also good enrichment for kids as they're going to school and people are trying to find some things for their girls to do that helps keep them entertained and excited about learning new things. So I think you'll really find some cool stuff there. We have Kelsey on the line here and fall products coming up. So I want to give just a quick shout out too before we go to fall product. So cookies, as you know, in March when this all went down, we had $400,000 worth of cookies in garages all over town, including your garages on this line. And Kelsey worked her tail end off and helped get all those out the door as much as we could. We ended in the black, which was great. I know all you guys really worked hard selling, and I know your girls worked hard. So thank you so much for helping us out with that. We did it differently this year. It was weird. We'll probably never do this again, but we sold some to businesses to kind of help offset. Rasmussen Foundation bought $25,000 worth of cookies that we gave to food banks. So we were able to help some nonprofits in town, Food Bank, Beans Cafe, Children's Lunchbox, a bunch of different smaller food banks across the state as well in smaller towns. So, we won't probably ever do that again, but we did it this year. And so thank you for all your work. And our digital cookie, no surprise, went off the roof. So I think that that's something new. And so it kind of segues into digital fall product. So Kelsey, do you want to jump in?
Absolutely. And with cookies too, if you guys have any sort of if you get space for meetings or service unit meetings like that and you want to give a thank you to somebody, let us know. We're happy to send some cookies out to people who have really helped us, especially this last year with COVID and everything. So definitely let us know. We do still have some leftovers at council. So yes, fall product. There's no pressure and obligation to participate this year. We still just wanted to give the opportunity for girls and for troops to do some fundraising. It will still continue to be a friends and family sale, so much more scaled back than Cookies is, and is primarily online is kind of what we're going to be looking at. But so keep an eye out for more towards the end of the month. We'll be doing training, not just for leaders yourself, but also for parents as well, since you won't be able to do a traditional meeting with letting them know how that process kind of works. So keep an eye out for that. And then our shop is also open for curbside pickup. We're happy to process those. You can find our store order form on the website and email that to customer care, and Sean can process it. We can mail or just you can set up a time to come and we'll bring it out to your car. So, yep.
Curbside service.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I wanted to mention too was we know that families are hurting right now. A lot of our members' parents may have lost their jobs and or cut back on hours. So we made a decision this year to offer free membership to all girls to be in Girl Scouts. So this is a great time, not just for your troops and for your girls, but for you to invite girls to join you and join your troops, so that, again, if you're hearing a parent, you know, pulling their hair out about how they're going to keep their kids busy and doing something productive and fun, definitely mention the free Girl Scouts, and we're glad to either help sign them up, or you can send them to our website, but we're glad to do that. Molly asked about our new location. Yes, we moved in and then we went on hunker down. So I'd say it's about 80% put together, maybe 75, but we were working out of there. It's we're over on Minnesota and International. Oh, Kelly, I just like having you just be there to give all things when I talk. But Kelly just put up our address. We're over in Minnesota and International. You've probably never been to this building, but once you see it, you'll go, oh yeah, I see that building. It's one of those kind of buildings. It's by an airport parking lot, and there's a big clock on our thing. You'll see it. We don't have a sign yet, but we're in Suite C1. That's part of our future plan, is to get a sign. But again, we do have people there. But we basically have our doors shut. So, because we only have like 4 people at a time in the office. So definitely call and make sure someone's there if you want to come pick something up, and we're glad to bring it to you. So Molly's asking if we can send a follow-up email with the links and addresses in it. Yes, and definitely it's on our website too, for sure, our new address. And we're hoping, you know, if the hunker down's done, I gave the staff their option to work in the office or at home, whatever they felt comfortable with. And I'd say probably 80% of the staff, I think they wanted to come back together. So we all were working. We wear masks and we sit in separate offices. We even Zoom. Kelly and I are 2 offices apart, and she and I will Zoom down the hall from each other, just so we don't, you know, get each other sick or anything. So we're definitely following all those protocols, but taking the time to stay home this month. I want to throw it open for questions. Let's see. Leah has one. Oh, it's early. You want to take this, Amanda, about early bird?
Yeah. Just making sure I have read all of it. So Leah is asking about troops who took advantage of already re-registering for the upcoming membership year and paid with troop funds, or individuals paid themselves. We are happy to refund all of that and to do free memberships. Just send an email to customer care. Let us know your troop number and that you want to take advantage of the free memberships. What will probably happen is that you'll see an email come through saying your membership was canceled, but we'll right away turn around and reprocess that with a free membership, and you will be good to go.
Yep. And definitely help us pass that word around, because we want to make sure we kind of, and we were doing the free, I mean, we were doing the sign up, and then we really made the decision that we needed to really help our families. So Molly says, oh, go ahead.
Oh, just to note, that free membership is also available to adults who are volunteers. So Leah, don't feel afraid to say, hey, we want to take advantage of everybody, not just our girls.
Amanda, we also had another question in the Q&A. Is the free membership just in Alaska or nationwide? And are volunteer memberships free? Time to get more dads on the roster.
So a Girl Scout membership is a Girl Scout membership. It's not specific to any council. So that's not specific to Alaska. It will allow you to participate in any of the Girl Scout at Home programs that are being listed on GSUSA websites, and those councils will not ask you to transfer your membership for the sake of that program. So it will just stay here in our database. And yes, those free memberships are available to any adult, men, women who are volunteering. So not just to register as an adult for the purpose of registering, but if they're going to volunteer, absolutely.
Leah also had a follow-up about not putting us in a hole. Thanks for considering that, Leah. We actually are working with some of our donors to help us subsidize the free membership. That's actually one of our biggest asks when we go out to the community and ask for people for help. And actually, I would say it's the most popular thing, although some people like to buy specific things for camp, but people really do like to help with membership. So I think we're going to be able to cover it by actually some grants that we've applied for, some COVID specific grants, and then also just our typical fundraising. So thank you for asking that question. Trish says, if we're not meeting in person, can you explain or use an example of how to do a badge? It's going to be assigning homework. Doesn't want to do that if we're already paying. Do you want to take that one, Amanda?
Yeah, that's a great question. A couple of things, just short answers, and then we're happy to chat with you more in person. The videos that we're going to put together will walk you through some of those techniques. One of your biggest resources right now is the Volunteer Toolkit. If you're not familiar with the Volunteer Toolkit, there's a GS Learn course that will walk you through all the basics, or just email customer care and we are happy to do that one-on-one with you. There's a brand new feature in the Volunteer Toolkit that there's little symbols next to activities now, and they say things like, this is a STEM activity, this is an outdoor activity. The brand new symbol is this has already been converted to a virtual activity for you with all the directions on how to do that really easily. And that's any kind of activity that's in the Volunteer Toolkit, whether it's a badge or a journey. You can search all of that. That's going to be a huge resource that will just walk you through how to do that step by step.
Galaxy S9, I'm not sure who that is, says, if you got refunded, did it use cookie credit or was it straight across free membership for the year?
That depends on what parents or girls asked. So we are not, using cookie credits is an option, but we are not applying those unless a parent is specifically asking us to apply those. Otherwise, we just carry all those cookie credits over to membership year 21, which starts in October, and girls can use those for camp next summer.
So Molly had a follow-up. Oh, actually, Leah, thank you. Yes, I agree. She said this is going to help get more adults. I agree. We always need more adults. And so you guys can help us talk it up with your friends to help us get more volunteers. That'd be great. Molly says, is there any reason we can't do the proposed? We will follow guidelines, but want to ensure we're keeping our troop active, even if it's in the normal capacity. You're talking about meeting outside, I think, Molly. Where do you live? Where does Molly live? Do you guys know?
I'm not sure, but I just answered her in the chat. She's in Anchorage.
Oh, okay. I see. There she is down there.
So for the Anchorage troops right now, following the guidelines, virtual meetings are to go. But that map of the state updates every day. So once it moves to the intermediate risk level, then meeting in person following those safety guidelines can happen for your troop.
And actually, I don't know if you're like me. I get the text every day and I'm a little obsessive about our numbers, but they seem to be kind of coming down, thankfully. So hopefully Anchorage will get out of that red zone sooner than later and kind of open things up for the Anchorage municipality. Molly's saying that they don't have the mental, emotional capacity to do additional virtual with school and work. We definitely understand that's an issue. I think especially in the very beginning of the school year, it's going to be overwhelming. But one thing, again, we're here to help. We're here to help you navigate through. And you don't have to do everything in September. I think, the first quarter is going to be virtual. And so I think if, as you get a kind of a rhythm going with school and family, if that's doable, that might give you a chance to start something in October or whenever it works for you. So there's no rush to the finish line here. This is really to make things fun and interesting for the girls and enrichment and to support the girls as much as we can. So it's not really, I want to take away that pressure. I want you to take it away and don't make us feel, I don't want you to feel that we're saying you must do something specific. We don't.
I just want to add to that, your troop status won't be in jeopardy because you decide for the first few months while we're in this high alert that you're just going to put things on pause. What we will do is reach out, or if you can reach out to us, we would love that because we can send information to girls about participating individually if they would like to for things. The other piece I want to say is those virtual meetings don't have to be highly structured in terms of feeling like homework or school. I've heard of troops who are doing like a Friendship Friday once a month for their troops so that they can meet and just have a conversation with their friends and share their pets on Zoom or something that just keeps them connected in these times, but is not really mentally, emotionally stressful, that sort of thing. So keep it light and participate in the way that works for your girls and your troops.
Thanks for emphasizing the independent stuff. That's what those virtual programs will do. It kind of takes the load off of troops when it seems overwhelming. I think girls can do some of that stuff on their own. Irma asked about picking up Journey books and patches. Yes, Irma, definitely send an email to that customer care. Sean sees it first. And so I know you've met Sean. She's at our store. So she will definitely see that and communicate with you about when a good time is to pick up. So.
We had another question about doing fall campaigns with schools, even though they will be virtual. I'll let Amanda talk about membership campaigns and options there.
Yeah, we absolutely will. It's going to look different in every school district. Some we will be able to still go in person. Some we're going to be able to do physical flyers. Anchorage, none of that is available to us right now. We will absolutely be launching virtual recruitment events this fall and throughout the year. We test piloted some of that last year, luckily, and now there's a national program to do that. In fact, we're in the middle of a kindergarten readiness recruitment program right now. In all those virtual recruitments, there's very much a program that will happen that girls get to try out Girl Scouts. And then there's a let's talk about joining membership and options that comes at the end. You're also going to see Girl Scouts go way back old school in recruitment, doing things like sending postcards. In fact, there's a big campaign that will be coming in the next month or so where postcards will go out, and it includes an activity for girls to color or to complete some sort of activity. I haven't seen the final version. And then they get to send that on to another friend. So you'll see both some really high tech and really low tech ways that we're going to be out there this fall.
We're also going to be doing a pretty aggressive online digital ads, just so parents who are out there looking at different resources will hopefully see Girl Scouts as well. We haven't done as an aggressive plan that we're planning to do this year. So that's new for us. We did it with cookies and digital advertising. I do think it helped a lot, actually. So we're hoping that that helps us bridge some of that inability to be in schools and meet kids where they are. You know, and just so you know, our number one goal besides safety is to get girls back together when we can. And we're still planning to do encampment. We're still planning to have camp next year. It's just, that's our goal, our number one goal, but we'll see what happens. I don't know when the trigger dates for those will be, but we absolutely have those in our sights to do. So hopefully some of the traditional things that we do next year. Although I will say the virtual thing probably is not going away. I think people are finding that this is a different way to connect, even though we're going to go back to in person as soon as we can. Well, they'll still have some virtual components. And I think the councils across the US have really embraced this idea that a Girl Scout is a Girl Scout. And if you want to attend our program in Alaska, we had an OWL program earlier this summer that I think was mostly from outside. Actually, girls from outside wanted to learn about Alaska owls. So, you know, there's lots of times that our girls are in programs otherwhere too. So I think we'll continue to see those kind of innovative things with virtual. Trish is asking, is the volunteer toolbox available in an app? I don't think it is it? Not yet.
I don't believe it is. You can certainly access it on your phone through, you know, just your internet, but I don't think it's an app.
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't someday. What were you gonna say, Kelly?
I think that's a great suggestion that they should work on.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like they're kind of moving ahead on lots of these technology fronts. So definitely, we'll put it out there, Trish. It's a good idea. Other questions? Raising hands or chatting in the chat box? You guys are awfully quiet.
Leslie, do you want me to throw the poll out there while people think if there's more questions they have?
Yeah, actually, let me say one thing about actually a different survey. Actually, before I do, Kara says, I think the virtual programs really help our small rural troops. We participated in the virtual bridging and found it inspiring. Cool, well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, we're actually really hopeful about that too, Kara, that we can reach girls that we don't always get to reach during the school year. We sometimes get to reach the rural girls during camp, but we kind of lose some connection during school. So we're hoping to work with the school districts out there and in all over rural Alaska, and hopefully get some product out to them too, and hopefully they can tie in. The other thing about encampment, I just want to say, coming in about 2 weeks, Amanda, maybe?
3 weeks, yeah.
You'll see a survey coming about encampment, and we really would like to hear from you. I don't know if everybody's gone before, but we really, let's pretend it's happening. So answer the survey as if for sure it's happening, although we do ask you questions about your comfort level. But we want to know about like what kind of program we want to offer, the timing, you know, that kind of thing, so that we can get planning. Again, we will pretend like it's going to all be good and then make it happen. Kelly's going to put up a survey that obviously is voluntary, and we can't tell who answers what. So pop it up there, Kelly, if you don't mind. It's just one question. It's quick.
Yep, it's just one question. Some of the questions also ask you if you, they have a follow-up to put in the chat for us. So if you can follow up with any of your answers. So basically, how is your troop planning on meeting this year? And I know that depends for a lot of you on where you are and what the comfort level for you and your parents and girls is. But we also want to know if virtual or a combination of virtual is your answer. If there's something that's a barrier to making those virtual pieces happen, or something that we can help with in terms of that, please let us know in the chat so that we can help support you in making those programs happen for girls.
Kara brings up a good point that encampment happens before their school is out. So definitely put that on there too. We try to, we're actually getting a little skewed this year too. There's a big event in Juneau that happens every other year. and we try to have encampment on the off year. But because of this, that it got canceled, so now it's on our year. So that's another kind of thing we need to figure out, how to maybe figure out dates for that as well. Leah says they're shifting to outdoor adventures like skiing and gold panning. Cool, very fun. When you go gold panning, let me know. I might want to go with you. I need to get out more too. Just a couple things on GSUSA. You might have seen yesterday, our CEO Sylvia stepped down as CEO. Her last day is the end of this week. I'm not sure what she's doing. It sounds like she might be going off to other adventures, but our new CEO is Judith Batty. There was some information on our Facebook page about it, our social media. Judith has been on the board for quite a while. She's a super powerhouse lawyer for Fortune 500 companies. She's our first Black CEO for Girl Scouts in our history, so we're very proud of that. And I don't know her personally, but I'm super excited to meet her. And it sounded like on the CEO call, several people did know her, and we're quite excited. A lot of us met Sylvia when she came up here last year, so I think we are personally sad that she's leaving. I was, for sure. She was very popular with the CEOs, and so she'll be missed, but I think people are pretty excited about Judith too. So we'll give her a good Alaska welcome, and we'll invite her immediately to come up here and come visit us. Let's see. There was something, someone saying, Katie's saying they're mostly virtual till this is over. That's understandable.
I think some of those are just the responses to the
okay.
survey.
Got it. Okay. All right. Oops.
That was me, sorry.
Oh, sound like you're playing the piano. Other questions or team, anything we've missed to talk about that you want to jump in on? I feel like I talk a lot. We mentioned this at the earlier Zoom call, but Wild Scoops is selling Thin Mint cookies with ice cream in the middle. So Thin Mint ice cream sandwiches. I heard a rumor they might be out, but I might go check right after this meeting. And then they're going to eventually sell another one next week, you thought, Kelsey? So if you're
next week is dairy, this week is vegan.
Yeah. So if you're a Wild Scoops fan, you might want to run over and get a Thin Mint cookie sandwich. Leah says, can you address troop travel? As you know, October is looming for us. Is that this October, Leah, you had something scheduled? Did I miss?
Yes.
If it's this October, I think it's not going to happen. I think that nothing is going to change in the rules and the guidelines about traveling this October. I just don't see that happening. I know we talked about your travel before, but why don't you get back in touch with us and we'll follow up with you about travel. The one thing I'll say too is, the Girl 2020 that happens every 3 years, the National Council session was canceled, or sorry, not canceled. It was, the travel was canceled. It was supposed to be in Florida. We're doing it virtually for the first time in our Girl Scout history. So we'll be putting out some things about that. I think there's going to be actually some more opportunity for people to participate who couldn't get to Florida. I told them when I first got on and I heard it was in Florida, I was like, we could get to France faster than we can get to Florida. So that's a really far away in the middle of October. But they're going to postpone it in person for 3 years. And I think it'll still be in Florida. I think they're going to still go back to that space. And a lot of us are trying to encourage them to have it in the summertime so that Alaskans could actually get there and enjoy Florida in the middle of the summer. I'm sure it'll be super hot. But so that's something just to put in the back of your head. If your girls have some goals about travel, that's a possible one that's going to be coming up soon.
Just to go back to travel real quick, GSUSA has suspended all domestic and international travel. I would encourage any troop thinking of doing travel, even if it's a year or two out, go ahead and fill out the travel form that's on our website. And Kelly, I don't know if you can locate that quickly, but we could put that in the chat. and submit that. And then what happens is then we have it on record, and anytime there are updates, we will reach out to you and say, hey, this is the current situation. This is what you can now be planning for. Same thing, I think we have a couple of service unit folks on the call. If your service unit is planning a big get together, I know Kenai usually does a camp in Juneau does a mother-daughter retreat. If your service unit is planning one of those, which again is not allowed right now, go ahead and let us know, and we'll keep you on that list to let you know as soon as there are updates.
Katie, we'll follow up with you, but Katie's got some questions about, maybe you want to say something now too, Amanda, about badge in a bag. That sounds like a good idea. And then facilitating bronze awards virtually.
Yeah, those are, Katie, we are of the same mind. Those are great suggestions. Our program team actually was just talking about all of those things. We will be pushing out a whole bunch more information about council program in the next couple of weeks. Likely you'll see very discounted badge, not just the badge and the badge material, but actual supplies to do those badges that you'll be able to purchase from us. Nationally, I think we're going to see more higher award sessions, both for leaders and for girls. We certainly, I think this summer and right before the summer, did a Take Action think tank, which is very connected to higher awards. So yes, thank you for all of those ideas. We will work on those. And as we launch all of them, we will push out emails and make sure everything gets updated on the website and on Facebook for you.
Kelly asked if you're talking about the short travel form or link to the travel page.
If you link to the travel page, that would be great. Troops, volunteers can get the short travel form and the long-term, which is a lot of out-of-state or international travel.
There it goes. Well, we're heading on 7:45. I know everybody's wanting to get to Wild Scoops before it closes. Or is that just me? I want to make sure though we answer any questions. I don't know if I don't see anyone with their hand raised or nope, not that I can see. We're glad to have these whenever, but you can always call us or email us. And our phones actually still work. I don't know who's maybe before me had the bright idea to turn our phones into voice over internet. So our phones follow us with our computers. So it worked out perfectly. So you can still call us and we still hear the phone ringing even if we're not in our office. And we definitely are answering the email every day. So the customer care email is the best way to find us really fast. Thank you, Irma. Other questions? Anything else from the team?
I will send out a follow-up email with some of the links and information, and again, that customer care email, so that everybody gets that in email form.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, you're welcome to fall off whenever. We'll kind of hang out here for a few minutes if anybody else thinks of a question, and but I don't believe in keeping a meeting going if it's ready, if it's done. So thank you so much, everybody. It's nice to see you a little bit, or at least see your name and hear you talking on the chat line, and give us a call or email if you need anything.